It's devastating to have your kids have daddy issues.
Maddie really is just one example of how my children are feeling about their father. Like he has really distanced himself from them.
My name is Cody Brown, and you've got to meet my family. I'm a polygamist, but we're not the polygamists you think you know.
We're living our best lives. I
Yeah.
say that's the best way I can sum it up. It really is. I feel like it's nice to start over again in a new chapter. We're also just starting over.
We're close because we have the kids and we still associate, like we were going in such different directions, right? So like we were talking about the other day, we're like, wow, we should probably just make it a point to at least call each other every couple of weeks.
Right.
And just do a real truly like verbal text or verbal catch up instead of a texting catch up.
For sure.
So because you've got a lot of exciting things going on with your new relationship and all the things that are going on there. And I have a whole new life that I'm creating for myself in North Carolina.
It's incredible. I feel like we're more independent now than we ever were, and just life's exciting. It's devastating to have your kids have daddy issues. It's really hard because my relationship with my dad is one of my favorite relationships. And to be able to have kids who struggle with their dad, it's really, really hard because I would love it if they had a good relationship with him. But I just tell them, you got to accept him where he's at, and you need to love him where he's at, and be open. Just be open when he calls, answer the phone.
I'm not going to reach out forever. I'm willing to make the effort, but somebody else is going to have to be on the other end of that and make some effort too. I'm not going to camp out on somebody's doorstep.
And then that's it. So like Savannah put it best. Savannah goes, I have a Disneyland dad. Because he shows up and then we have a really good time right here. That's it. It's hard.
But she hasn't even seen him in the last year or whatever. And in fact, she just really does. Like, I just know who he is. He's a known quantity. I know who he is. I'm good. I can accept him when we go out. When we used to go out, it hasn't been this year, but we just talk about things that we had in common. They have the same taste in music, so she kept it very superficial.
Yeah.
And she's even said, and I'm really grateful that we have so many sons that have stepped up. She's like, I'm going to have my brothers walk me down the aisle, like when I get married. So like the brothers have kind of stepped in. I know that Maddie has not had any conversations with her dad. She's not called him. She doesn't have any relationship with Robin. She's pretty much written them both off. Yeah, and one thing I'm really glad for in this season, we're going to be coming a lot more current. So I'm really excited for that. But Maddie really is just one example of how my children are feeling about their father. Like he has really distanced himself from them. He doesn't really make an effort to see them. And again, Maddie is such an amazing mom. She's really protective of her children. She doesn't want them to get to know him, and then he turns around and doesn't see them anymore, or wants to trash their mom to them or something. So she is protective. I think she would be open to having a relationship with her children if he really did the things. Like
if it was consistent.
Showed up as a father, truly a father.
But you just got to show up first.
The reason I suggested I shouldn't go is just all the hate that I'm getting from family members. I'm still terribly hurt by everything that has happened. And so I'm not in a place where I'm like, oh, I'm just forgiving you guys, so it's all good now. I'm just not there yet.
I think that he just is, I don't know, preoccupied or something. And I don't understand it. I don't know. I just don't get it at all. I think he has his kids are some of the best people that I've ever met in my life. They are incredible people. And he has a choice to be in their life. And I just don't think he's really just taking it so he can fully be in their life. And it's his loss because they're amazing people.
Oh, I'm having a hard time not feeling like losing respect for you.
I actually feel like that's probably just normal couple relationship dynamics.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
a guy going through 3 divorces, that's got to be really hard on him. It's 3 divorces in 2 years. So that their relationship will probably have some things they have to figure out because it changes the dynamic of who you are as a person. So I'm sure.
Yeah.
But no, I would imagine they're fine. I bet they're going to be great together.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're fine.
I think they're fine.
It was just a true division. I think if you can look back and figure out where the lines were drawn, a definite line was drawn that day. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen after this. If they get together next year, I don't know.
No, you know, I feel really bad because they were always, Dayton was really part of
He was
my
at your house
boys'
all the
world.
time.
Like, I feel really bad that there was a falling out there, and I do hope that at some point that relationship will heal. We were at a family event, and I know that Maddie really made an effort to go over and say hello to Aurora, Robin's oldest daughter, and give her a hug. So maybe, you know, maybe at some point in the future, I'm hoping that relationship will be restored.
I hope so too. I think that's been the hardest thing with all of the separations to me, is that the kids don't have a good relationship with Robin's kids anymore. And I think that's devastating. I wish they had a better one, because they certainly, so many good memories with all of them together.
All these pictures.
A lot of fun.
All these pictures come up in my phone, and it's all the kids or whatever.
So many good memories with them.
They have this ride or die chat.
They do.
I'm not part of it.
No.
I always hear these things and they're like, what was in the ride or die chat, Mom? I'm like, well, okay, I wasn't in that. So I hear lots of family news.
Yeah, I do
from my
too.
kids.
I had no idea. So they started asking Truly if she was available and if she could hang out and she could do this. And I'm like, you realize, I don't know if you guys realize that Truly's schedule isn't really her own. She's 14. So if you guys need to know if she's available, you've actually got to tell me that you're going to be doing things so I can make sure to fit it in her schedule. But I cleared the schedule for her, and they've done really great things together. They all went down to Vegas for a concert together.
Yeah, and they have Truly come with them. She just tags along now. She's old enough now to sort of
do what they're
doing.
Be
there, because they still supervise her. I mean, like, there's still a lot of really parental kind of parental kids.
Cool.
Like, so they really watch out for her. But
a cool example, remember, so Logan, he had like a birthday party. It was Michelle's birthday party, but they invited Truly, but they make sure they hosted it in a place that allowed kids, because they know they had Truly there too. So they're just siblings. They're siblings, and they move together in this little pack still, and it's great. It's great to watch. It's great to be a part of. But you're right, we are on the outside. But
yeah, I actually think they might even be. They get closer and closer, I think, as the years go by. And I'm actually really grateful for that, because it seems like a lot of times as kids grow up, they get more and more distant, right? Life takes them a very different way. But our children have really managed to maintain close bonds, even though they do live across the country from each other, some of them.
The first time that I got on, I met David. His pictures were beautiful. It was him with these eyes. Pictures do not do him justice. His eyes were beautiful. And I told him, oh my gosh, we're walking into the restaurant, and I go, I just have to tell you, I think your eyes are beautiful. Just like that.
So this season actually goes through a lot of time. So the beginning of it was so funny, because the beginning of the season, I was still just dating, and the end of it, fully married and everything, and life has moved on, and it's 6 months after and everything. So the season is over a long period of time. So finally, people are going to be able to see David and actually hear him speak.
Yeah.
Versus just pictures.
Christine and David, by the power vested in me by the state of Utah, I am pleased to finally join these two soulmates and pronounce you husband and wife, sealed together both in law and in love. Dave, you may now kiss the bride. I now have the highest honor of introducing for the first time Mr. and Mrs. Woolley.
Yes,
that was so crazy.
fun.
I had to look at my calendar. I'm like, has it been a year? Like, it's been a year.
No, that was the best day. I loved our wedding so
It was beautiful.
much.
That's the most beautiful wedding venue.
Oh, it was so much
Our
fun.
girls all got married in really beautiful places, but that place was really beautiful.
They were all beautiful, all of them. And I felt like it was perfect day. Oh my gosh, so much fun. So much adventure to be with a partner. Like, I never really understood the term partner, and what is that stupid? You complete me. I laughed about. I know. I feel it. I feel it. So I feel like
I'll
being
take
married.
your word for it.
I know.
That just sounds
No,
terrible.
it's awesome. It's awesome. I absolutely love all of it. I feel like being married to David, I'm more independent than I ever was. I've done more and accomplished more. I'm a better business person. I feel like a better mom. I feel like I'm better at like every role than I ever was before. And I feel like I was fine before. I was fine before, but I feel like I'm so much stronger now that I'm married to him, and ever more so. But I have a true partner that's there all the time. So it's safety and it's security that I didn't know was a thing. I had no idea what it would be like to feel so solid and so secure. It's still so romantic and in love. And I'm sorry, it's so much fun, and all the kidding.
Yeah,
All the
I'm like, it's
mushy.
good. You do you. Like I'm so not interested.
No,
Like-
you're not. You're fine. You're all of it, but all the mushy stuff. There's this episode that we watched with all the PDA and stuff, and
Oh,
I'm
just
sorry
sort of-
about
I
that.
sort of speed through that when
I
I saw
know.
the clip. I'm like,
I'm
nah, I don't
sorry
need to watch
about that. No, you don't. You really honestly don't, girl.
Hang out with you guys enough. I don't need to see all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so.
We're finally going on our honeymoon. We're leaving November 1st, and Janelle found out we were going. She's like, that's always a cruise I've wanted to go on. I'm like, I don't think you want to go on this one. 'Cause
No,
it's our
oh
honeymoon.
no, yeah, no, I wasn't suggesting that, but
Oh, I know.
because I'm like, I don't ever intend to remarry, and so I'm like, well, who's gonna go on cruises with me? And they're like, we'll go with you.
We'll go with you, just not this one.
Not that one.
Every
no.
other one, we're gonna go. I feel lucky and blessed that I have David, and she at least has a guy in her life who's, father
They have
figure.
they have
Oh
such
my
a
gosh.
funny relationship. He just
It's
doesn't.
funny.
She tries to dish out her teenage crap, and he's like,
Yep.
oh no, we're not doing that.
He's like, that's not gonna work for you. I don't think that's gonna work. So usually when kids are moody, you're kind of like, oh, they're kind of moody today. I need to be kind of like walking on eggshells. He's like, we don't do that. So he totally dresses me. He's like, you're really moody. You're almost like your cat today. Why are you so much like your cat? And then she immediately she's like, we're just having a rough day, David, and I don't really want to talk about it. He's like, well, you are. You're here. You're in the kitchen making food, so we're going to talk about it. And he just breaks down the walls, and he just has these great conversations with her, and she's blossomed and bloomed, and she rides a bike. I don't think I told you. She rides a bike now.
Good. She swore she wasn't ever going to.
No, and so David took her out one time and got her kind of comfortable. And then when we were out of town last, David's son was like, she doesn't know how to ride a bike. That's stupid. So he took her out, and he's like, no, you're gonna learn how to ride a bike. She's like, okay, and so she did.
I can remember, and this is just a little bit like we went to Moab last summer, and so Moab is rocks, right? Mountains and hills, and you climb it. And she got herself stuck.
She did.
She crawled up, and she got herself stuck up on this hill. And David sort of walked her through. He went to rescue her.
He climbed the mountain.
He went up there, but then sort of made her figure it out how to get down, so teaching her a little bit self-sufficiency. So he's really showed up, I think, as a really good father figure for her.
Yeah, agreed.
So I do, and that's one of the reasons I'm just not interested in. First of all, I think the whole dating scene these days is terrifying. Like the whole app thing. No thanks. No thanks. Christine, you offered me the rest of her credit with her matchmaker. I'm like, no.
It was so fun. I had such a blast.
So I think a matchmaker is kind of better than a
They do all the groundwork for you.
Yeah,
It's like having a secretary in the dating scene.
I just don't want someone to come along and mess up what I'm doing. So
That's why I got the matchmaker.
Yeah.
Just kidding. You said it best. You were like, look, I already have all of these plans. I would marry someone if he fit into my plans.
Yeah. So there you go. Like if you fit my plans, then maybe.
If you sound like Sam Shepard and you fit into my
Oh no.
He needs to have rock hard abs, whoever he is.
Nice pecs. Nice pecs.
My favorite ever.
So Janelle's not in love with me. I think she thinks I'm hot. I got nice pecs and a great six-pack abs, but that's all she's interested in.
So my daughter and I, or my daughter, son-in-law and I have purchased some land in North Carolina, and you'll see as we start to bring that to fruition, it's been a lifelong dream of mine. Do you know what I mean? And so you'll see, boy, a lot of the process that went into that as we were starting to figure out all that in this coming season.
I love that you own land. You've always wanted
Always.
Always. It's all of your dreams.
Yeah, and I always tried to have little gardens wherever we lived. Even in Vegas, I had little tomatoes growing in my planter boxes and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But this one is more, and I think we're going to be focused on flowers because that brings lots of joy.
Can you imagine sleeping and having this experience in the flowers? I'm going to go visit for sure.
So, they'd always talked about 3 or 4 kids, and I'm like, well, I live here now, so you could have a lot because they are fantastic parents.
They are.
They're fantastic parents. Like Maddie is hands down a better mom than I ever was.
From the get-go, she seemed to understand her kids so soon and so fast.
And she read all the parenting books, and so she's been really, really such a good mom. I'm like, oh, you guys could have a lot more if you wanted to. They're like, no, Mom, 4 is good. 4 is good. I'm like, please, I'm here to help. Have as many as you want. Do you know what I mean? But they're not buying it. They're gonna 4 is it. We have all these kids. I don't know why we don't have more grandkids.
Lame.
Just saying.
Lame.
I want as many grandkids as they will give me.
That's the party right there. It's so much fun being a grandma.
Man, just the knife in the kidneys over all these years. And the sacrifices that I made to love you. Wasted.
You know, I decided like when I left Cody, I was really, really thinking really hard. What am I supposed to do now? You know, do I keep on filming this, or because I'm leaving the family, should I leave the show? And I really thought about it a lot, but I chose to keep on filming it and having it still be part of my life because I felt like it would be dishonorable. These people have known me for so long, and I felt like they deserve to see like the journey as well. And I
Well,
think that it's
I
been
mean,
a journey.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is when we set out was to show that our family was normal. Because really, truly, as much as Cody protests, we were a very functional family. We had our dysfunction.
Yeah.
Every family does.
Yeah.
But I think this is part of it. Like that we always had choices, and this is just part of our choices. Like,
No, I love that.
we were
did
able to
always have
make our choices.
We
So-
do, and we're just going to keep making our choices. You're right. That's the best way to put
Yeah.
it.
You know, I'm always really glad to continue to invite people into my life and just show them what we're doing. If they're interested, they're so welcome to come along. And Christine and I will always have our adventures, and our children are definitely starting to live their lives.
I think you're just going to look at, we have full lives. They're full and they're rich, and so many new adventures to do together and to do separate too. And it's learning how to balance that together and separate. And we found that like so many times we'll be like, well, what if we do this? And what you want to come along and let's go ahead and do this. So we have several things that we're working on doing together, and then things that we're doing separate too. It's finding a balance and making sure that we know that Janelle and I are sister wives, and we're going to keep raising our kids together and still be like grandparents
family
together.
unit.
We're still a family unit.
Thanks. Or holidays are harder to navigate now because there's way more houses to go to, but you know, it's an ongoing discussion.